Okay, in this video I will explain to you how the gift card feature works. So let's go to your gift card features, and you need to understand a bit about how the MVC works, so you can explain well in the presentation. So in the model folders, it's going to contain the function to add the data to the gift card table, and the controller is going to contain a reference of function that will retrieve the results from the models and display in the view. And the view, of course, is going to display the result and visual content to the user, which is the front end design part. And the route is going to create a page, which is the gift card we have here, the gift card page we have here. And it's going to get the data from the controller and pass to the view through the router. Okay, so let's go to the code and I will explain to you how it works. So if you go to content, you have two columns, and the first column is going to ask the user to select the template, and if they click on one of the templates, it's going to echo out, say, to inform them that they have been select the template. So this one is template 1, 2, 3, and whenever you click on any of the template, it's going to echo out the title which has been declared inside the code. So how to do that? Let's go back to the item content here. If you scroll down in this live code, which is the column 1 I'm talking about here, which is this one, you have the inside the div here, the row, you have 1, 2, 3 div, and each of the div here, you have the attribute called the data and the data dash the image. This is not the default attribute of the div. This is the customized attribute that you created. Okay, so in these features, I need to get the name of the template and the image URL, so I can display the template in the canvas, and then I can draw the text inside this image. Okay, so this is how you declare the customized features. You can call whatever you want, but in these features I'm going to just call it data and the data image, and the data is going to contain the name of the template, which is when you click here, it's going to say gift card template 2. Let's call out this data attribute value here. Okay, so if we go back to JS here, so if you notice in the class of the div, I create the JC-div, same as the rest of the column here. So go back to here. I have a function that the function is gonna do is whenever I click on one of them, it's gonna get the value of the item that I click on. So in this function, you see here, so this is how you define the click event function in JavaScript. So the body, which is the browser here, so it acts like the object, so like you are the object and then the body, and the body is going to access this element, child element here, which is the body. It's going to click on the child element, which is the C-div, which is this one. going to click on one of them, and when they click on one of them, it's going to do the logic inside the function here. So this is the element that we echo out the value of the div that you selected, and the attribute, the attr here is the function that return the value of the attribute that you call in here. So in here the attribute is the data, so I want to get the value from the data attribute. I just call it out here. So attr is, which means attribute, stand for attribute. So when you call this function, it's going to return the value of this attribute here, which is return the new template here. And this is refer to the one that you click on it. So if you click this one, it's going to return the value of this one. If you click this one, it's going to return the value of that one, this one. So template URL, which is the template image URL, the same as this one. So when they click on the div, it's then also gonna return the value of the data dash image attribute here, and then I'm gonna assign to the template URL here, variable here. It's gonna this attribute data image, and the second variable that I create is a check template, which I'm gonna use to define which I'm gonna use for later to check whether they click on template 1, 2 or 3, and then if they click on template 1, I'm gonna set the position of the sender text position, receive position, price based on the template they choose here. And just remember that's all the variables here that need to be declared outside the function. So it's gonna act like the global variables. It's like public variables. So when your side it adds a global variables, it's gonna use everywhere in the function, in the everywhere in the file here. So if you assign a value of the check time and template URL in this function, you can get that value and use that in the different function in here. So if you declare this one inside this function and then you call it out in the another function here, it's not going to return the value in this function, and it's going to return errors and say like cannot find these variables. So that's why you have to declare it outside the function to get the value for later use in other function here. Okay, so the product name. So once you assign on the values to the variable here, the next lab code is you're gonna assign the product title, which is the attribute data here. This is the product title here. You're gonna assign this one, the value, to the product name, which is in the form here. So in the form, I create 3 hidden input that not gonna show in the page here, but it's gonna use when you click submit button in the form here, and then it's gonna you're gonna get those value as a post value, and then size in the article item arrays for the shopping cart features. So the shopping cart features require to have at least the product name, product quantities, and the product price. Okay. And the product price is this one. Product name, product quantity, and product name is getting value from the attribute data here. And the product quantity, of course, is gonna be 1 because you don't want them to be able to select the like 100 quantity of the gift card, so it doesn't make sense in reality. Okay, so this one's done. So once they click on the div here, it's going to echo out this one. So let's say when they click this one, it's going to scroll down to this column, which is this live code here. So this function it is defined in my JS file here. So it's going to scroll to div. So whenever you click, whenever you call out this function, it's gonna scroll to the div name you call out here, which is the gcard form content, the ID gcard form. So when they once they click on the template, it's gonna scroll the user. It's gonna scroll the user through the form here. So it's got like the user experience, like the UX stuff. And once they scroll the page to the form, it's gonna set the focus on the sender name, which is this one. So when they click on this, set the focus on here, they're gonna start typing here instead of like just focus on the form and point the mouse or point the cursor to somewhere else. It's just the usual experience. So okay, so this one is handle the function to get the value and assign the value of the gift card template. And the next function is generate gcard template. So if you go down here, you see the gcard template. We have the button called customize, which is the generate gcard template, which is this one. So this line of code, it's gonna does not allow the user to refresh the page when they click on the customize button, because this one is the link. So in a normal situation, when you click on a link, it's gonna direct you to a different page or refresh the page, and we don't want them to do that. So we're gonna call out the event.prevent default. So when they click on this one, it's not gonna redirect. No, it's not gonna direct them to anywhere else. Instead, it's gonna do something in here. So I'm gonna create the variable called sender name, receipt name, and product price, and I'm gonna assign the value of the sender name, the ID sender name, ID receipt name proprietor, which is this one. So I'm gonna assign those values to the variable called sender name, receipt name, and product price here, and I want to format them to the uppercase. So if they just type something like this, it's gonna transform to the uppercase. So it's gonna display in the template here in the uppercase. So we're gonna do the basic stuff, validation check. So as I said so earlier, I create a check template, a global variable. So check if the template is equal to none, which is not click, which is not select anything else. It's gonna alert, create alert box. I'm going to choose template, and then I'm going to set the sender, the focus to sender name, and then the same shit with the other stuff here. Else, which is after the user pass on the validation here, I'm going to create the canvas. So this is the basic initialized syntax to create a canvas. So as see here, I have the div and the canvas here. So you have to define the canvas element, the HTML first. So it's gonna have basic stuff like the canvas with the ID and the width and the height. So canvas. So inside JavaScript, you're gonna create a canvas object, and it's gonna point to the canvas that you have here, which is gonna reference by the ID here. It's gonna be documented get element by ID. Then we pass in the ID, which is the gift card template. And you also need to create a context of the canvas here, and the context of the canvas is going to be 2D, it's not 3D, because you're not going to do anything with the 3D here. And next up, you need to create the image object to be like to load the image on the canvas, and then do stuff like filling text to the canvas as well. So this live code is going to create the image object, and this live code is you're gonna create the onload function, which is the you do like window onload function in JavaScript basic stuff. Gonna do with the image object dot onload with a function, and you're gonna create the template color, which is the color of the text, the price, font style, which is the font family, like what font you want to use for the text, sender position text, receipt position text, and the price position text, which is how you place the text in the canvas. So here I want to create the array, which is the X position and Y position, same as the receipt and price. And I'm gonna do the switch condition here. I'm gonna check a temp. So we see I'm gonna check the template here. So if the user click on the GC div here, it's gonna echo out the data. So it's gonna get echo out title of the template, which is from the data attribute here, and scroll down, switch. So if in the case if the title is the gift card template one, I'm gonna assign the font style of the price will be 40 pixel, which is the font style of the Josephine Sands, and the template color is gonna be this hex color here, and the center position is gonna be at the X of 316 and Y of 221, and same as the receipt and price. And in the case of the template 2, the price font style is the same as 40 pixel of Josephine Sands, but the template color is going to be black, which is 000 here. The center position is going to be different because the template has a different layout. It's going to be X position at 139 and the Y is 232. Same thing here. And same as the group at template 3. So after you check the template that you just select, you need to use the context object in here. So you're gonna need to draw the image. So you're gonna draw this image object, and the draw image is gonna have 5 parameters. The first one is the image. The first one is the object that you want to draw, which is the image object that we declare at the beginning here. And the next parameter is the X position, and the second one is the Y position, which is we want to draw the image at the position of so let's say this is the canvas shape, and we want to draw the image start from 0, which is this one, 0 from the top. This one is the X and this one is the Y, right? So I want to draw it from the 0 and 0, so it's going to start from here and draw all the way here. So and next parameter is the width of the image, which is 500 pixel, and the height of 200 pixel, which is the same as the canvas that we have here with so it's gonna draw the image equivalent to the size of the canvas. Okay, next up we're gonna assign the font of the context, which is the image object. The font is gonna be equal to price of font style. So it's gonna depends on what the user select in the template here. So if they select template 2, it's gonna get the price font style from the template 2. If they click on the template 3, it's gonna get price font style from template 3, because you create the price font style and the global variable. It's gonna get whatever they select from the template here and then pass in here. And the fill style, which is the color of the text, so context.fill style, which is the color of the text, it's going to assign to template color. And the fill text, which is the function that you're going to place the text inside the object, image object. So you want to, the first parameter is a product price, which is the variables that you have in product price. Where is it? Okay, here. So the product price is a variable that you get from the form here. You go back to the form, you have the ID here, the product price, and you assign the value of the product price to this variable here, and so you can use it in here. So we're going to pass the product price, which is the text, like we're going to pass the 50, so we're going to pass the text in. Still going to dynamic variables, so pass this one. And the next parameter is the X position of the text in the canvas and the Y position of the text in the canvas. So why using the price post square bracket 0 and 1? Because I'm gonna get the value from the array of the price position here. So if you see a price position, in the array we have two value, and the first value start at the index 0 and the next one is at the index of 1. So that's why I reference here the price position 0 and price position 1. So it's gonna, so price position 0 is gonna get 252 and price position 1 is gonna get 154. And next stuff is again the font. So this is the order of styling the text. So if you do not type this code here, it's gonna get the style from above here and apply on the way to the receipt name and seller name. But if you don't want the font style, the receipt name and the seller name same as the price, and you want the receipt name and seller name a little bit smaller, it's not like 40 pixel, you want it like 16 pixel, so you need to declare it again here. So it's gonna apply this font style to the receipt and seller name here. So again, the field text function is gonna pass in the receipt name, which is the sender name, grab the value from here and pass in the receipt name, and the receipt name of course I declare here in the body click. So so this one inside this function, and this one is a global variable, so that's why you can access it value and pass in here. So this is the X position in the canvas and Y position in the canvas, and this lab code is gonna export the image after you fill the text inside the image to the image, and then export the image into the set of string called the base 64 image encoder. So for example, if I put some image in this website, and after the encoding show the code, so this is the string of the code of your image. So this one is a visual image, but this one read by the computer, and it acts like the link of the image. So if you type in like the image @rc and paste in this string into the reference here, it's going to show the image like this one instead of the normal URLs like HTTP something here in JPEG. So just the base 64 of the image. So once I do on the field text and canvas things near export to the base 64 encoder string, I'm gonna assign that value, the image string here, to the customized gift card ID, which is the hidden value here. So I call it customized gift card value, and the var and the value is going to pass in the data URL. And the next one, I'm going to scroll the user to the gift card template, which is when you done typing everything here, X, click template and click customize. It's going to scroll down to this template, This template is gonna show this string here. Template URL. Yeah. And also I want to display the add to cart button after they click customize. G cart form, which is this one. Just want to display the text and the submit button to add to cart. So one day type in all the information here and click the template and add to cart. So just bear in mind that the form with the attribute action is gonna direct or the submit not inside the content of PHP, but go to the add to cart function, to the add to cart page. So it's gonna do the PHP logic of presenting the post value of this form inside the add to cart function instead of within this page. So when they click on add to cart, it's gonna go to default route, go to route add to cart function, and you see here I create the item arrays, which is ready to create the key value of the item in here. So you see here I have the set post pickup button submit, which is I get a submit from this button, the pickup button submit from the content.php form. So if I get the submit from this button, I'm gonna create the item array with have some key value, which is a product name, product price, quantity, blah blah here, and I'm gonna assign the post value from the form that you have here. After you click submit, I want to set them to the item array here with the specific key of the specific key here. And once you assign it, you're gonna pass them to the page, to the view. So you're gonna pass on the item arrays to the view add to cart. So you can, so if you go to the add to cart file in the view, it's gonna be shopping cart and add to cart. And add to cart. You see in the top of the line here, I have the function called override push, which is pushing the item on the item here, the item arrays here. I want to push to the sections shopping cart. So sections shopping cart is gonna have the details of the item that you to push to this one. Okay. And once you, so let's see, when I click here, when I click add to cart, it's gonna push the item information here to the shopping cart. So I'll click here, checkout page. It is showing the owner item inside the shopping cart sessions variable. So you go to checkout page, default row checkout. Okay, and you go to checkout page. You see here I get firstly I look through, I count on the item inside the shopping cart. So at the moment I add in 2 items, which is it's gonna count. So if the count less than 0, it's gonna make out shopping cart is empty. Otherwise, if shopping cart contains some item, it's gonna look using a for loop and look through all the items inside the shopping cart. So this is the item at the index 1 with the key value of product name, and same as product detail price here. So exactly the same things here. So when they click on proceed, which you add shipping info, it's gonna direct the user to the page here. They're gonna fill all the information about the shipping information here. After filling out, like let's say here, click pay now. So if you go to default route, add shipping information. This one processing the font value. So if it pass on the data here, it's gonna direct the user to the pay now page, which is, if you go to pay now page in the here, it's gonna add the pay now view. So which is go this one. The pay now is the PayPal API code. So this one is gonna create the PayPal object, and using all the PayPal function to process on the item and direct them to the PayPal payment gateway. So it's here. So if you check if the section shopping cart is empty, it's not empty, and reset. Oh yeah. So you check if the shopping cart is not reset and it's empty. It's gonna ask them to go back to the home page. And here I'm setting the currency of the Canada and the subtotal, the total. That's just a global variable declaration. And payer, I think you don't need to understand all about this one. Just get a basic idea of how it works. So create item list. So once you click pay now, it's gonna process this page. And that's all called create transaction. And if the payment after they enter the username and password, and it's gonna have to URL, redirect URL, one with the successful true and successful false. So when they click continue, it's gonna direct the user to the payment status.php with the get the query string of the success value here. So see here, it's gonna return the successful true, which is the payment has been made. And if the phone is going to be something wrong with the payment, so it's not going through. And you go to the payment status page. Let's see. This is where you want to save the database, the data to the database here. So if the success equal true, so in here, if the successful phone is going to direct them to the home page. Otherwise it's going to stay in this one and process on the rest of the code here. So you scroll down. I'm looping through the sections shopping cart, so I can get all the item in the shopping cart, and I also have the specific like a block here, code block here to set the database depend on the page that is sent to the shopping cart. So if we go back to here, I forgot to tell you that I also have the hidden input, which is the payment from page, and I define it as the gift card. So just to is for checking condition in the payment status. So you see here the session shopping cart with the index of looking through the shopping cart. So if the item with the payment from page equals ticket booking, it's gonna save that data to the ticket tables. And if there's the payment from page, the item with the payment from page is a gift card, which is your features, it's gonna save that info to your gift card table. And if and this line of code, it's gonna by default gonna save all the item info to the payment history table. So once they're done, this is the body of the create the email content to send to user. I also create a loop, create a shopping cart so I can send the product history to the mail here. So you see here. So I'm looping through this sessions shopping cart so I can create the table content to display the product name here. Again, this is the send mail function to send the email to the customer. So after I sending the email and saving the data to the database, okay, I need to unset the sessions shopping cart, the session only page, so and every only sessions variable that I create earlier. So when the payment made, you see like click on go back, the cart is 2, right? Click here, it's gonna go back to 0 because I unset only session variable, which is the destroy only session here. So I was echo out. Thank you for purchase with us. Have a link to direct the user back to the homepage. And this is how the feature works. I hope you understand what it does here. Thank you.